The Tongan Castaways were a group of 6 teens who got stranded on an island for 15 months in 1965. Now, I never actually read Lord of the Flies, but I gathered that some kids get stuck on an island, go ham on a kid named Pigpen, and the consent is that humans are evil and power-hungry. Some 14 years after the release of the book, these boys did get stuck on an island and it didn't turn out like that. They were attending a strict Catholic boarding school and hated it there. They decided to steal a boat from a fisherman they hated and make an escape for Fiji or maybe even New Zealand. They sailed away unnoticed with clear skies and nothing more than a few sacks of bananas, some coconuts, and a gas burner. They anchored some 5 miles north of Tonga and woke up in a storm though. First thing to break was the anchor, and then they hoisted the sail and it got ripped to shreds, and then the rudder went out too. So they went adrift for 8 days with no more food or water except for some rain they caught in coconut shells, and they shared equally. Finally, they caught sight of the rocky, cliffy Ata Island, some 99 miles southwest of Tonga's main island, Tonga Tapu. For the first 3 months on the island, the boys were desperate for food and water. They survived on fish, seabird eggs, meat and blood, and coconuts. Then they found the ruins of a village in the island's volcanic crater. It was a 2 days climb away and it had been inhabited about 100 years earlier. Some 350 people lived there in 1863, but almost half of them were captured and enslaved. So the Tongan king of the time sent schooners over to evacuate and resettle the people on another island where they would be safer. Back in the ruins, the boys found feral chickens, wild taro, and bananas, and life got better for them. At one point, one of the boys named Steven fell off a cliff and broke his leg, and the other boys carried him back to camp and set his leg with sticks and leaves. He had also started a fire with 2 sticks, and the boys kept it going continuously for over a year. Another boy named Kolo made a makeshift guitar out of a piece of driftwood, half a coconut, and wires salvaged from the wreck. And they sang songs together at night and came up with 5 of their own. Finally, on September 11th, 1966, the boys saw a fishing boat captained by a guy named Peter Warner. From the boat with binoculars, Warner first saw patches of burnt cliffside, and then he saw the boys swimming towards him, naked and unkempt. Steven got to the boat first and yelled out, "My name is Steven, there's 6 of us, and we reckon we've been here for 15 months. They had been thought dead and funerals had been held for them. But when they got back to the capital, police arrested the boys at the behest of the fisherman who was still livid about his boat getting jacked. So Peter reached out to Channel 7 Australia and made a deal with them to make a documentary about the castaways. And then Peter paid for the boat, and then the boys were released on the condition that they go through with filming the doc. As a reward for saving 6 of his subjects, the king asked Warner if he wanted anything in return, and Warner asked if he could trap lobsters and start a business in the waters, and it was granted to him. The doctor found Steven's leg to be perfectly healed, and you can find the documentary they made.